And
Yeah, we're like, hello everyone. Welcome to the 29th episode of DevKami. I'm
Yeah.
Chiliong.
I am Tristan.
And this is Swimming, and today we had a guest, Nazrul. Say hi.
Hello. Assalamualaikum.
Cool. Of course, before we can introduce the interview, I think we should start with our usual thing. We should talk about the meetup that's happening soon. So, what happening soon, people?
It is at devkami.com/meetups, and there is a Malaysia Auto Show, robotics
Okay,
activities for all.
But why we want to do a Malaysian auto show?
Well, it's less of the auto show, I guess. It's more of the
So,
robotics.
More of the chicks.
No, actually, Kinabalu coders, they have been very active in robotics in their community, and they get a spot in the auto show to do a robotic competition.
Yeah.
So it's like sumo competition, then a self-driving car competition, and all that.
There's a maker corner as well. So
and it's all done by Kinabalu Corner. The reason why we want to add this to the schedule is because I think it's a good idea to visit them and support them. It's a bit far for me, but if you happen to pass by, say hi. They have been working very hard and very active on robotics.
You talk faster today, Swimming.
Huh?
You talk so much faster today.
Yeah, I'm a bit tired.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's not in peninsular Malaysia, I guess, right?
No. The event will be in Sepang.
Sepang. Mm-hmm.
But Kinabalu Coders is primarily based in Sabah, Kota Kinabalu. So the next thing happening is WordPress security. What is that? Anybody know?
Yeah, same day, April 13. This is Collabs. So Collabs has been sponsoring a lot of the venues of many meetups, like the ones by Malcolm, for example, the React workshops that he's been doing. Collabs has been sponsoring that. And this is WordPress security. Our DevOps meetup organizer is going. So that
who's the DevOps organizer?
That's one. Do you know him?
Sazwan. Sazwan is a new guy. He had been running the DevOps.
He's not a new guy.
Oh,
he's been in my OSS.
Oh, okay.
Which Sazwan is it? Jipang, is it?
No. It's not Sazwan. It's not the Sazwan in JB. I only remember him recently. Okay. I don't think you remember. So he's been a bit quiet in the community until recently, lah. So then also Sam.
So this happens on Saturday.
Also Temple.
Around the same time as
on Saturday.
The auto show, and it's going to be on Starling Collabs, and it's at 10:30 a.m. A lot of interestingly, a lot of websites are still running WordPress.
Yeah. Confession, my blog is on WordPress,
and still like I heard that 25% of all websites in the World Wide Web is running WordPress, and so it's something that you might want to.
I think it's more than that. I think it's over 50%.
Over 50 web pages.
I think it's over 50%.
I just think that the one who admit it.
Okay, and finally we have a DevOps meetup.
Yep, on Tuesday in My Valley Hall.
Yes, user place. Correct. So this is an event happening right now. You happen to pass by, join us, make friends, learn a little.
Yeah. So DevOps will be on Tuesday, 7 p.m. If you want a reminder or like a calendar of activities, it's at devkami.com/meetups, and we'll see you on the events.
So
that's nice.
So things are happening
in Amsterdam. That's gonna so I'm gonna say something. In Amsterdam, we're gonna have our AWS Summit next week, and I'm pretty excited for it. In one session or one workshop that's very exciting is actually the Deep Racer workshop. So you get a chance to actually play around with the SDKs and then try to do your own algorithms for your Deep Racer. The car itself, and then you have a chance to actually use your algorithm on the car and then run it on a track.
Are they live streaming the event, the summit?
I'm not entirely sure. but yeah. So that's one. This is actually the only thing I'm excited about for the summit.
So there's
Yeah.
Amazon Summit happening right now in Singapore.
Yeah, it's a Singapore version of AWS Summit.
Yeah,
Right
But
now.
they don't. I don't think they have cars or like
Yeah.
things.
I don't think they
Yeah,
have
as far as
it yet.
as far as I know, for Deep Racer, thank you, yeah, and for Deep Racer is only available in US. Even some people that I've met over in Europe, they acquired the Deep Racer car through a proxy in the US.
Okay.
So it's not directly available.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah. Okay.
that's
If not, I
actually
just
the most
continue
interesting
then.
event in Amsterdam so far.
Yeah. Also. Okay. So for the last week, we have some interesting things that are on that are happening right now. So let's start with what is smart traffic routing? GSLB.
I have no idea. We need Manju to explain it to us.
Okay, so one of the big idea is that this about big routing is similar to load balancing globally. So it's like the reason is some place is to offload the country to somewhere nearer. So this is one of those advanced things. But I never used this before because I'm out of the CDN scene for a while. But when we talk about GSLB, CDN is one of those things that one of those application for it. So that you can route your traffic to the nearest place, for example. So the next one is actually NTOS. What is NTOS? Everybody know?
NTOS is a
Google Cloud
control. It's actually a Google Cloud for your It's actually a Google hybrid cloud thing, like a controller for your Kubernetes, your private and cloud Kubernetes, something like that.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was formerly called the Cloud Services Platform, so they renamed it to NTOS, and it's like what CL said. It's a platform that allows companies to actually manage their cloud hybrids between on-prem and also in the public cloud.
So you can use Google service on your private cloud. Not sure that's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right.
But
so
there are other specific parts of NTOS that is completely unique when it comes to AWS. I mean, I watched the introductions, the keynote, but I haven't actually gone into the details about it. But it seems a lot. It seems very, very interesting.
Cool. All right. I think that's the interesting thing that we have right now. I think we can start with the interview. So let me introduce Nazrul. So I know Nazrul for a while. He is many things. He's a community organizer for a while. Before social media is cool, it's as bad as we have. We already had a big meetup, Barcamp in 2008, or was it 2007?
Yeah, and there's also this community called Social Media Club KL back in the days.
Then you also involved in a Google developer community some time back. Then Barcamp KL, and you have worked in various roles at different countries. You work as a technical person, software developer, project manager from Malaysia to Singapore, then back to Malaysia. Now it's in Europe. So you had a lot of experience. We had a lot of questions to ask. I think
I've done a lot of stupid shit, basically.
Yeah, and you're also a rollerblader. Yeah, you're a rollerblader. I'm confusing between you're a rollerblader.
Currently on rest.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's start with introducing. So anything else you want to add on top of my introduction first?
Actually, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So I think it just shows that whether you done your research very well or you know me very well.
Yeah.
But most of the time, when information about me is available out there in the public through LinkedIn and other places. But yeah, exactly what Swimming said. That's a very good introduction. And I think one other things I'd like to add on is yeah, basically I've done a lot of stupid shit for the past 20 years in my career in IT, and I volunteered for this session because I like you guys to ask me really serious questions that probably I have some experience in handling it. If I don't, maybe I can give some silly suggestions that we can have a good discussion about it.
Yeah. So I have a lot of questions, but I'm going to start with something. Should I ask about your background first, or you should talk about different cultures first?
Yeah.
What's the best cultures that you work with, like among Singapore, Europe, and Malaysia?
Okay. That's a good starting point. Let me see. So I've been doing this for a while, and in IT or tech, and I can humbly say that I started from the bottom. So I know how it feels to be working in a low level team where you do all your basic things every day, the same things all over again. And up to the point where I was lucky enough to be promoted up to the level of engineering manager. And you can say that that's like probably, if you look at the hierarchy or the tiers of the career path of an engineer, you get to a point where you become the Eng manager, then you probably become VP, then SVP, then you go up to CTO level and whatnot.
Yeah.
So so I was very lucky, and I still feel very lucky until today. And because of that, my background or the experience that I've acquired over the years, when it comes to culture, I've seen so many different types of culture, up to the point when I mean, I don't know whether it's I'm okay to swear, but I don't give a fuck. A point where the culture is pretty much fucked up. So not to say I've seen the worst, but I've seen the worst in my own career. So when it comes to culture, there's so many things happening around the world that actually have an impact to whoever that you will work with in a company or in a project or whatnot, or even in a community, that you can actually see different cultures or different ways of how people behave. The common mistake that I've seen so far, which is that people tend to it's not like being prejudiced, but people tend to have a set of, it's like labeling, So people tend to label that, this is, you're a developer, you're an engineer, you should be this kind of way. Your profile of an engineer is wearing glasses, having in shirt with a tie and with your name tag, and then all that you do is behind the keyboard. So and although that is something, and the thing is, a lot of the problem starts when it comes to culture is when people believe too much in the profile that is being set by the society around them. They tend to they take the stigma too seriously. So when it comes to culture, when you're in a group of people, because culture happens when you're in a group of people, whether you're in a team, in a company, or even in a community. When you're in a group of people, and then that group of people tend to, if you believe too much in that label that is being given to you by society, you tend to behave differently, and you tend to be more defensive. You tend to be aggressive. So there's so many things that you can talk about culture, but generally, what I can talk about culture, or what I can try to help you answer questions that you might have is, I can give you some answers that is not specific, but more of psychological behavior of how you as an engineer or as a person in life can navigate and chart your own path chart your own path into a successful life. So yeah, that's what I think about culture.
So the thing, right? from the observation, is it that Malaysian Singapore culture is we are more taking the order type versus the Europe? In Europe, people are more toward taking charge type.
Okay, that's a very good question. And so I had the opportunity to work in Malaysia. Malaysia has been long, Singapore for a while, and having a lot of customer clients in Singapore and also now in Europe. Right off the bat, I can tell you, all of us, Singapore and Malaysia actually share the same culture, except except the level of appreciation of technically skilled industry or technically skilled people, right?
Yeah.
So, and in in Europe now, from what I noticed, the level yang diorang ada for appreciation for technically good people is way off the charts. Okay, so if I try to map out my career life and I see the companies that I've been to in different culture and how they differ from each other, the only constant growth or constant change that I've seen so far is level of appreciation. It goes like up and up as I move out from the country. So for me right now, Malaysia, the only problem in Malaysia is not the technical competency. The Malaysia's level is at the point where technical competency is so high. There's a lot of good people. Ramai gila orang Malaysia. Even people like Tristan is not from Malaysia. I believe you're from Philippines. And even if you come here, we treat you like a Malaysian. But anyway, we still call you a Malaysian if you stay in Malaysia. But the point is that there's so many technically good people in Malaysia. Tapi the problem sekarang ni is the level of appreciation. Sangat kurang is very little. So, and I moved to Singapore, competency level is there. Although problem with Singapore is a bit more different, whereby it's the locals tend to say that there's a lot of foreigners coming in, stealing the jobs away, blah blah blah. And actually, that is a constant problem across different countries that I've lived in. Even in Europe, there is some sentiments that people say that foreigners coming in, stealing the jobs away, but it's not it's more of like a general context. But there are some sentiments.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the level of appreciation is different. So what's missing for Malaysia is not competent technically or competent and talented people. Malaysia, the problem is appreciation and understanding, and that's it. Even because in Singapore, competency is there, although there are imported players to raise the bar, but there is a difference on how companies over there appreciate the engineering talent, they appreciate the technically good people. It doesn't have to be software engineering; it can be other aspects of it. And the thing that you should be able to see is how they treat. Okay, my best example is how companies treat construction workers.
Yeah.
I look at different companies different countries at how they treat their own construction workers. It doesn't have to be about software. Construction workers. In Malaysia, kita treat our own construction worker macam the best word I can say, or the one I can give impact in this podcast, is macam anjing. Really treat them bad. They treat them like dogs. But in Singapore, there's protection for foreign contractors. There is the government has it. There is good treatment that the companies that hire foreign contractors or construction workers, they are being upheld to a point where there is a standard. The moment they break the standard, they're out. There's no compromise. And over in Europe, it's like the best. It's huge difference, and the way they protect these workers, the way they take care of these workers, the way they look at their well-being, even to the point of salary, gaji and everything, it's so high. So that thing, although I'm using an example of a construction worker, but the principle is still the same, because people will start to adopt the same principle of how they run businesses or how they run companies, no matter which industry they switch to. If you inherit the same behavior from one industry, when you move to another industry, you probably will do the same thing. So again, for Malaysia, I think in summary, when it comes to differences between these countries, is the level of appreciation and level of understanding. Everything else is the same.
Right.
Even better.
But,
I think Malaysians are a lot more into technical talent.
Yeah. So how about
And also
culture
Philippines.
outside of professional life?
Shout out to the Philippines.
Yeah.
I haven't
Yeah,
been
I
to
mean,
the Philippines in a long time, so I can't really say much about the culture
but
nowadays with tech.
I work with a couple of guys from Philippines, and I can really attest to the point where there is good talent over there, really good talent. Just level of appreciation, it's not there anymore, or it's not there at all.
Yeah. So so how about appreciation when it comes to community? So do you see the appreciation? I know this is a bit biased because we both in Balkan in Malaysia, right? We can see
Yeah.
that we can see the culture being built around, but you see that is as important as building up the culture of building up our own circle of us, right? To
Mhm.
build up our skill, to build out our tribe. Our tribe is a good word. Tribe is a good word
Yeah.
for this. So that would build out of how we treat our own, right? But the thing is, uh, so there is when we work, right? So the thing is, the business are usually outside of our tribe, so they look at us very differently. But which
Okay.
is why we had our little tribe in Bakem or whatever, right?
Yeah. Um, community community is a strange, not say industry, but it's a strange
Yeah,
strange path or career path. Um,
yeah,
when it comes, okay, so the way I treat community is the way I treat my normal relationships in life. Um,
yeah,
and the way I see it is similar as well. Because the thing is, when you try to champion for something that you believe in, as an individual. Okay, so
yeah,
normally how community would start is always a group of people surrounding an idea, right, or a belief or a mission.
yeah.
But
Mhm.
the belief of the mission, we always start with one person. So the
Yeah,
first person that start having that same belief, and he or she believes that this is good for everybody, will start recruiting or influencing the people around them with the
yeah.
same idea, objective, goals,
Mhm.
whatnot. So no matter what kind of industry or kind of community that you want to establish or build, you always follow the same pattern. It's always been the same pattern. It's just that the subject matter is different, right?
Yeah,
And that is I mean that is the normal process.
yeah,
So, but at the same time, also you also need to believe that when you have this group of people, there are people who will drop off. There are people who will be fully interested. There are people who just come in and uh, try to be useful, and there are
yeah,
people who will have malicious intent. When they join, that would be the worst case, the worst kind of people that you want to have in the community. But they always happen, always happen. And the way it should be appreciated is starts from the core itself. I mean, it's either a group of one person or a group of people that believe in the mission statement of the community that you are organizing, right? So people will go in and out. Like in life, people will move in and out of your life. Like swimming, I haven't seen you for God knows how many years.
Mhm.
But in the early days, let's say early 10 years ago, probably we had see each other more regularly than we like
yeah,
to. Yeah, something like
yes,
that. We always see like people in the same events and whatnot. But we move in and out each other's life. So in
yeah,
community, you should speak the same thing as well. People will move in and out. And
yeah,
then as long as the core, like the group of people or the individual in that community stays strong through the mission,
mhm.
and you always and you maintain the same belief, for 10 years, 20 years, or 30 years, people will come back if they believe in what you believe. They might
Yeah,
drop out for a while and they come back. Okay. So the thing is, you as an organizer or you as the community core community team, you should not feel disappointed or feel macam alamak tak ada orang lah, nobody's coming to my meetup, or should I do this or should I? You shouldn't feel what's the English word for it? You shouldn't feel discouraged. You know,
Yeah.
if people starting move in and out from your community, you know, throughout the span or the lifetime of your community that you're building. So, and when you don't feel demotivated or discouraged, you know, you always keep the same momentum, same spirit. People will come in because they know that, you know, you still light the fire. The fire is still holding the torch, you know, with the same strength. So when you do that, you know, and you're constantly doing preaching or you're sharing new knowledge and whatnot, people will come back and people will drop off, and those people will learn how to appreciate you by being always be there. So it's, if you look at normal relationships in life, if you have friends or even acquaintances that you know, if they appreciate you for something, sooner or later you reconnect, right?
Yeah.
And you or the person will always remember that, oh yeah, this guy did this because he's always been there, he's done all this, and he's continuously doing that.
Yeah.
So when you keep doing what you believe, people will always appreciate it.
Yeah.
So the level of appreciation uh, is something that you cannot measure, right? Because it's human behavior, it's relationships.
Yeah.
It's something that's very organic, that is not measurable.
Yes.
Now, having said that, the problem with most communities right now is when they try to measure the level of appreciation.
Oh yeah.
And so the problem is that the level of appreciation, the measurement or the intent to measure that level of appreciation is motivated by money. And that usually involves the funding of whatever events or whatever thing that you're going to do.
Mhm.
So when you become an organizer of a community and you know that is a motivation behind why you're doing things, and you acknowledge it and you're using it, and you know, basically you pretty much have that intention, but at the same time also you try to be a good spirit, there's always a clash of culture. There's a the clash of, you know, in your self being, you know.
Yeah.
I'm doing this for the love of it, but if I'm going to continue doing something for the love of it, but it's also motivated by the financial aspect of it, that's backing my effort, there's something not right over there. So,
But
so at one point of time, you as organizer will have to decide where you want to go. You want to do it the right way or you want to do it this way.
yeah.
So whatever choice that you make is entirely up to you. But mm, what I'm seeing so far is that there's a lot of communities that is uh, not, they don't intentionally to be financially motivated, but
Yeah.
they are being that motivation is and on top of, you know, the sprinkle of peanuts on your ice cream sundae.
Mhm.
So it's a sprinkling on top. That can also be very dangerous because
Yeah.
the people that comes to your meetup will be those kind of people who doesn't appreciate you.
Yeah.
So to me, the way I see it, and the way what I have observed so far, the strongest group of people is always been the group of people that believe in the same thing, and then when they grow up, they still have that belief, and they maintain that belief no matter where they go.
So
The weak, so that's the way I see when it comes
mhm.
to community and the level of appreciation.
But is this from your experience as a trainer? Because you run a community, but you also do training. Both of it is the same activity, knowledge sharing, teaching, then the pay to teach. Another is you share. It's a gift to your friend or people that pass by, right?
Sorry,
So,
swimming. Can you repeat that again? The connection was a little bit.
oh, okay. So my question is, I know you've been trainer before. Is
Yeah.
this also from your experience as a trainer versus a community organizer? Because as a trainer, both is the same kind of activity, sharing knowledge, but it's very different reason, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, So training, again, if you really are doing something that is financially motivated, I mean, just the way I look at it, the root of it is always been about the money.
Yeah.
You cannot deny about it.
Yeah.
Okay? So no matter what you say is whether you don't have money, it's not about the money, please don't deny that. There's always financial motivation in what you do. If not motivation, but implications at least.
Yeah.
Okay. So like if you organize a meetup, you could probably sponsor all the money, but that actually depleting your service, and then your savings is gone, and you have to do some extra work to do. So no matter how you say it, money is always behind your motivation. It's just implication or you are influenced by, or you are motivated to make money.
Yeah.
So when it comes to training is more the way I would like to put it, training is a financially motivated outcome of sharing knowledge. Okay, but the different thing is that when you give training, people pay you to give that training, right? So people, the people who attend your training would expect you deliver something very good.
Yep.
Okay, if not, they would expect that you would help them solve a problem that they had. That's why they paid you.
Yeah.
So when it compared to knowledge or knowledge sharing, when it comes to in terms of doing it for the community, you can do workshops or training for people for free. Majority that I've seen so far, and I'm not saying everything, those kind of activities, the quality of the content is subpar.
Yeah.
It's not exactly what the workshops are looking for, and that's understandable.
Yeah.
Because people who come for training in a like a free training, they tend to be more beginner level, and the amount of hand holding that they need is a lot. Compared to people who comes for paid trainings, they need hand holding, but at the same time also they need to be aware that they are not the only students in the company that paid for the training. There are other people who come for the training that pay the same amount of money. So I cannot just treat your perangai or your unique individual just in a group of 10 people in a class. You have to deliver the training equally among the people who are paid as well. So you as a trainer has a financial has that obligation as well, because these people are paying for something. So, but okay, so going back, I digress a little bit from community training or community workshops or free workshops. People who give these free workshops, the quality of the content is always subpar, and it's always very, very basic. It's just touching the surface, and it doesn't really satisfy the need. Most of the time, people do all these free workshops because it acts as a as the lead generation for the actual paid workshops. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. But again, the quality is subpar. It's supposed to lead you to a paid workshops or to do something that's related to what they are promoting. To use the services, to hire you as a consultant. There's always something behind it. So even for community, for example, even Python community, okay, there's pretty good developer groups. Although we organize workshops, I'm talking about my past, not the current organizers. Although we organize workshops for free, or organize some talk for free, how to use this and for free. Even though we are not leading these participants of those free workshops towards something that is being paid, that we can charge for, but it's also leading to the services that Google is providing. So what you really want to do is actually directing the traffic of people to just learn about something and then get them to use the services that you want to use. So again, whenever you do that, is all the quality of the content is always subpar. But comparing it to formal training or they call it the corporate training, you as a trainer have a very high you have the responsibility of creating good quality training, and at the same time also you are responsible to help every participant in your training to help with their problem. If you cannot give the correct answer, at least you help them with some ideas. Because that's the best that you can do. Basically, you as a trainer, you have to show that you are fucking good. And not fucking good in terms of telling them what do ABC. Give them, but more like give them the idea. If you want to do this, there's 1,000 ways to do it, but I think this is the best path to take. So you have to give your perspective as a trainer as well, to know that you have known 10 ways to build a website. At the end, you can tell the attendees saying that out of the 10 ways to build a website, 5 of it is the easiest way to get in, but there are A, B, and C reasons why it's not the best or the best out of the best, but there are some pros and cons. And 2 ways that is the most fastest way to get to have a website, and 3 more ways to do to do something faster than what you do right now. So you have to give that. You as a trainer must also be responsible to tell the trainees or share that knowledge to the trainees, in that all the time ways to do things. This is the best. These are the good. This is not good, and whatnot.
Yeah.
So the quality of the content, the amount of responsibility, even when you come or you do something like a paid training or paid workshops, is high. But again, I've seen a lot in paid training that delivers low quality content, and they just read from the slides, they just follow. I mean, I'm guilty from that as well. I've done that. I'm guilty about it. But over the time, I do not want to do the same thing all over. I do not want to repeat the same mistake all over again. So I try to change my effort or approach when it comes to training. But I have seen consistently some trainers deliver the content the same way for X amount of years. It's the same monotone way how he always deliver content. There's really nothing exciting about it.
Yeah.
So
and also,
yeah. So yeah, that's how it is, I think.
Okay, so but from the experience of all this, right? So one of our big debate that we constantly have, in fact, not that long ago, we have been complaining. At least one of the member engineers might have been complaining that people from code school. I don't know whether you're familiar with code school, how code school work in detail, but student from code school after essentially 6 months. Was it 6 months, guys?
It's 10 weeks, so about
3 months, 4 months, right? So they go through some.
I'm not counting correctly. Sorry.
So
about 3 months. About 3 months.
So they go through the code school, then they come out. The quality is horrible. I mean, do you seen that? What do you think about that? Right, because we had code school is immensely popular in Malaysia now.
I have many opinions about code school.
Yeah.
Or even like those coding boot camps, right? What they call these days, right? Coding boot camps.
Yeah.
The problem with coding boot camps is that they're not teaching the right things.
Right.
That's it. Bottom line.
Right.
They're not teaching the right things. They're teaching people how to build a web app in 10 weeks, build something in 10 weeks, become a front-end engineer in 10 weeks.
Right.
Fine. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But you're teaching in the bootcamp is basically how to do a web app, blah, 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 blah. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
You are learning something without the core. To me, again, it's about the principle of fundamental knowledge, basically the core fundamental knowledge when it comes to technical work. Or in this case, we talk about software development. The problem with coding bootcamps is that they don't teach students what is data arrays. Really, what is really about data arrays? How computer systems work. You pass in one data, go into the machine. It changes its form from a high level language. It gets interpreted into a low level language, and that goes through this process, that process. So they tend to not teach the basic computer science as knowledge. I'm not saying I'm not a computer science student. I'm still missing some knowledge, but I believe that if we don't have this good understanding about how computers work at the lowest level, okay, when you try to build a career in software development, you will end up being lost at times. Because you really do need to understand how the bits and bytes move and work within a system, within a network. You probably don't have no need to have in-depth knowledge about networking, but you need to know about TCP packets.
Yeah.
You must know about UDP.
Yeah.
You know, you port 22. What the fuck is that for? SSH. So, and all this, this basic knowledge. What is port? What does port do? To the point where what is telnet? How do you telnet into a service with a port number and one? They don't teach those things. There's basic low-level understanding about how a computer system works. And the most important part, they don't really cover human-computer interaction. They only cover human-computer interaction in a surface level, whereby how people use websites, how people behave on their websites. Yeah, fine.
Okay.
But if you as a web developer or even as a software engineer, you also need to understand how this action that's been taken or been done by your users, what they do on a surface level, they interact with whatever software that you have, and then those interactions becomes computer instructions, and those computer instructions will move data into all these different pieces of parts or components in your in your application, and that pieces of data gets moved around into infrastructure that you have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like you click a button, say yes. Yeah, your web API captures the interaction. Yeah, on the surface level, the browser would probably have an on-click function, and the on-click function will trigger an API call to a backend server. The backend server gets triggered, and it will actually capture the value of whatever parameters that have been passed into the call. It can be a hidden format body that contains the parameters. That information gets captured into your code, and your code will translate that information from the HTTP callback, and it will decipher or decide, based on how these developers write code, to say that, if there is a parameter called language, lang equals to en, make sure the website gets translated into English. If the language parameter is in NL or in MS is a formulation, it gets translated in and that system itself. And then when that translation happens in the code application level, you also must understand that you also need to trigger something on your back end, or even on whatever, let's say, you have a CDN network that has pre-cached those pages, Bahasa Melayu pages, and then because of that trigger, you can trigger, the website or web server to respond and pick up the pages from the cache in a specific cache group, and then that gets delivered to the end users.
Right. But the point is, we should really be honest that computing is actually hard. Yes, you can't just learn a framework and build a website. And code schools should be longer and be honest.
No, it's not about long. Okay, so it's not really about the length of the course. It's just that they're teaching the wrong thing. And they expect these people to come to your boot camps, and then when they become employable in the next 6 months, fair enough. There are some coding boot camps that does that very well. They actually do teach low-level stuff. But I have a problem with most coding boot camps, whereby they make those people who join those boot camps believe that this is the only thing that you need to know.
Okay.
That's my biggest fucking problem with them. They say that, all you need to know is this framework. All you need to know is about this. This is all that you need to know to become a very good software engineer. Yes. That is what I'm pissed off about. They make those people believe that is the only thing they need to know. Yeah. But if you've been in this career path for so long time, there's so much things to learn, and you cannot do it while you're still alive. I'm almost 40 years old. I'm 39 years old, and I still don't know everything. And whoever comes to you and say that I know everything about tech, fuck them, and they can go fuck themselves. So but the thing is, they make people believe that. I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with what they teach. I don't have a problem with things that they're missing in the curriculum. But I have a problem where you make people believe you come to my coding bootcamp, after you graduate, you become a fucking good developer. Fuck you. So that's the thing.
Yes.
So that's my problem with coding bootcamps.
Yeah. But
the best thing I can describe about bootcamp is my opinion. Is that it's like something a sampler in a restaurant instead of a whole meal before you are committed to the whole meal.
That's a nice way to do it. Yeah.
So
that's a nice way to do it. Yeah.
The thing is, I'm going to say this, I'm going to offend a lot of people, but younger people nowadays, young people nowadays, they have tendency to like, okay, I'm going to focus on this for the past few years. I mean, both of us worked long enough to know that every time we say that, a few years later, will be something else come out. So I think that we had an attitude among the younger IT people, startup people especially, about how to work in the industry, right? Notice that, or it's actually something that just keep happening. Some young guys come in and say, "This is awesome," and I'm also
that is okay actually. That is okay because people get excited over things that they like. That's okay. Yes, but you cannot make other people believe that's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
That's the only single way to do it. And so that's tough. And I don't know, this coding bootcamp things, I stay away from them. I don't like them, especially the ones that I have identified that they make people believe this is the only way to do it.
Yeah.
So I stay away. But again, when these people graduate from boot camps, you have to also look at the other side of things, right? So you have this big group of people that graduated from boot camps, and they think that this is the only way to do it. They get excited about it. Yeah, fair enough. Even if you as an experienced engineer or experienced software engineer, so somebody that works in IT for so long, the old people, the OGs, the seniors, so they get pretty irritated or annoyed quickly.
Yeah.
And because they do that, they tend to kecam, they tend to put those people down.
Yeah.
That is also a part of the fucking problem. Because the thing is, you as a more experienced person, you cannot be putting down the hopes and dreams of a person who wants to be in a career or in industry that they find it interesting and worth going for.
Yeah.
They make that transition to change from something to something else. Obviously, they are motivated by something. But when they move to something else, and then you as a more experienced person, you see this new guy, I'm gonna put him down. I'm gonna make sure he understands. I'm gonna make sure that he knows his place. That is the best. That is the worst thing that can happen to anyone. Yeah. Having somebody else saying that I'm gonna make sure he knows his place.
Right.
And that happens across all these different industries.
Yeah.
So you as an experienced person, you cannot be in the position where saying that these new people come in, they get excited, they say dumb things. You as a senior person, obviously you more experienced person, you obviously done more bad shit ever. But when you see somebody else do bad shit, you tend to take the low road by being negative towards them, but you're not being the person who encourage them or driving them to the right path.
Right.
That is also an effort. There's not many people doing that. There's not many people driving other people to the right path.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you can condemn coding boot. I mean, I can condemn boot camps, but I believe that I'm also very responsible to help these people who may have been misled or don't have a proper sense of direction to the right way or to the way that I believe that's the right way. And if they decide to go a different path and if that path is serving them well and it actually turns out good for them, then I'm entirely happy for that. But don't be that person or be that senior guy. You have this new junior and say that you junior, what do you know?
Yeah.
Okay, you put them down. You also have that same responsibility to make sure that they don't know everything. Let me teach them to know everything.
Yeah. Right.
But
okay.
I cannot.
We got roughly 5 minutes left. Because
we have 10 minutes. We don't have any questions right now.
Oh, we don't have question. Okay, cool. So I'm going to add on top of question. Then, how you think that we should grow juniors, especially most of the okay, the something that we both know of are roughly seniors now, as in long enough can be called seniors. What do you think the best way for us to grow juniors? In return, also use it to grow. Okay, not just junior in workplace, but junior in the industry that actually people come down to us, talk to us, right? So how you think we should grow the juniors in general?
In general, treat people well. Encourage people to do the best that they can do. And teach them. Always teach people. Always share. Always be encouraging. Because the things in the end, you're everybody around this world is a normal human being. Everybody has
Yeah.
emotions. Everybody reacts differently in different situations.
Mhm.
Basically, everybody has their own individuality.
Yeah.
So, but generally, you treat people with respect. You treat people with integrity. You do things right. You do your work right. You have no malicious intention towards people and also the work that you do. You'll be fine. And I think that's the only way to 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 grow
Yeah.
generally, and also even in whatever industry you're in, or even in IT.
Yeah.
So that's the only way. There's no specific way, because every industry, I believe, has the same problem.
Yeah.
It's just in the form of shape that is different, that is unknown to us.
Right.
So they have same problem, overarching, but not specifically, but generally. So treat
Right.
people with respect. You'll be fine. You
Okay.
treat any juniors that you will come to join you, show them the ropes. Your job as a senior is to basically teach them everything they need to know so that they can take over your job.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
Mhm.
When I mean, there are people out there. We talk about how I automate myself away from my job.
Yeah.
They write automation scripts. Yeah, you can write something for the machine, but why not you apply the same principle towards other people as well? How I can transfer all the knowledge that I have to another person so that he can actually take over my job and I can
Yeah.
do something else. It's not that
The
you
reason,
ask. It's not that
so
you ask
people,
people to take over your job, then you goyang kaki or shake your leg. No, it's
yeah.
alright. It's more like you teach people so that they can take over your job, and then you can go out there and learn something else or find another job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. Do that, and I think the world should be a better place.
Cool. So I think that applies to life lesson throughout the industry and all that, right?
Yeah.
So how about what? Okay, so on top of being nice and all that, so anything you want to add on top of your experience for a few years, actually 20 plus years experience in IT? Anything you want to last before we close it?
Uh, I don't believe the hype.
Oh yeah, don't believe that. Okay,
Don't believe
yeah,
the hype. That's it.
yes,
Uh, I I mean, I've done this. I've been in tech for 2 decades.
yes,
Basically, don't believe the hype.
yeah,
Because in the end, when you're a person who's taking care the technical attributes of organization, or you measure the technical aspects of organization, measure the systems or whatnot, uh, the only way to to always move or always grow is to really pay attention to the intricate details and understand how things are supposed to work, how they impact other people, how they impact the system that talks about it, and stay away from the hype. You can be hype about things, but again, that's not the only way to do things. So yeah, I think that's
cool.
the only thing, and I think that's my principle. What life? Just don't believe the hype.
Okay, yeah, things change all the time.
Yeah.
All right, I'm out of actually I do have things, but I can't imagine of anything. The
Oh, we can
colors,
do a bit of a shout out on the people watching on YouTube Live.
yeah,
Um, Nicholas says that the Deep Racer tournament is also in Singapore. So I guess it's a
Oh,
staple of the
cool.
AWS Summit.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure whether we can
Nice.
get the car here. That's a
Yeah.
good
But
thing.
but he's saying that when they live stream, they only usually live stream the keynote. So we don't get to see the Deep Racer tournament on live stream. But
Right.
I guess I don't know. Maybe we'll get a highlight reel or something. Someone will probably upload that. Yeah. I think that's probably everything that for today,
Yes.
unless you have like final words. So we've been talking a lot about community growing people. Like if there was one thing that people are going to take out or take away from this interview, what do you think will it be?
So is that a question for me or Swimming?
Swimming, we always ask him every week.
Yeah, they ask you so
So
many times.
Yeah, I mean, like you and CL have no questions. I was like, oh, okay. You have no questions, okay.
No, because swimming did all the and your answer were pretty good. Yeah.
yeah,
And it's
Oh,
actually a good reminder that because after a while of being in the industry, people it's very easy to get to drift into the like jaded mode. So sometimes the very important thing why we do this conversation thing is to remind ourselves not to get into that situation ourselves. So yeah, don't be the
yeah.
gatekeepers.
Yeah, I mean, you have each other, you know. So it's each other's responsibility to keep everybody on their toes. You know, if you fuck up, and my job is to make sure you fuck up. And swimming know that personally.
Yeah.
So yeah, so so I think if you do that as well, you know, you call. I mean, you don't lah. You know, you say I know swimming fuck up, right? I don't lah publicly call him out, you know, and point it out. Yeah, he fuck up. I
Yeah.
do it nicely, but if you wanna point something out, you can. But yeah, you have each other to remind each other. You know.
Yeah.
So
So one
be,
thing
be
is,
that be that be that friend that remind your friend that they fuck up.
yeah.
Yeah. And then things will be okay, I think.
Yeah. So I think if we have nothing else to add, thanks for coming, Nazrul. I know it's all the way, you're on the train just now and it's in Europe. You just finished work, right? Or something.
Yeah. It's going to be 5 p.m. here.
Ooh, okay.
Over in the sun sets at 8-9 p.m.
Okay.
It's spring, and then and apparently, I mean, this is my first spring. So apparently, when it gets to summer, sunset will be at 10 p.m. sometimes 11 p.m. at night.
Ooh,
So it's not night; it's actually just going for sunset. So it'll be interesting to be
Yeah.
to be spending time in summer. Oh, and on top of that, fasting month is in summer as well.
Okay. Man,
So-
I wish to be in Europe now. It sounds like fun.
Yeah.
And also Odin Data is there. I know you work for them. They've been in Malaysia for a while. So
Yeah. So if you don't mind, I just want to shout out. Olin Data is a technology company in the Netherlands, and we are hiring. You can go to olindata.com. And if you're interested to work on DevOps, infrastructure, software development, there's a job page over there. You can apply, and if you make it through the technical assessments, you might find yourself working here, working with us.
So these are a bit of more personal thing. I know some of the people in Odin Data, they know their stuff. I suggest that you take a shot because you will learn something from them. They are that good. So
I work closely. I mean, the people that you're talking about is Chun Ming, Walter. So these are people that I mean, I've known them since those early days of Barcamp and also FOSS. So FOSS MY, and like I said, I am learning a lot from them.
Yes.
It'll be interesting. If anybody, if swimming, if you want to work here, you can apply a job. Up to you.
Yeah.
But
Let's see.
Tristan also the same thing. CL also is the same thing. You know. But again, everybody else also the same thing. Same offer. Interested? You can apply.
All right. Cool.
And this is not a paid advertisement.
We don't do commercial yet. Okay, so that makes it. Thanks for sharing your wisdom. Because we usually end by 11 because I need to wake up early. So that. But thanks for
Take care of yourself.
Yeah, because it's all the way in Europe and all that. I appreciate it. So faster. So that's it. So shall we say goodbye now?
Yep.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Bye.
So thanks for coming as well.